I grew up in a white, middle-class neighborhood, and the schools I attended contained an overwhelming percentage of Caucasian students. Until recently, the fact that some students might not be receiving the same chance at a quality education strictly because of their race and culture never even came to my mind. I was ignorant in a way I could not afford to be as a teacher. This is a bias I will have to overcome. I must not forget to distinguish each student as an individual and at the same time embrace their culture in a way that will make them feel comfortable in my classroom. I can do this by creating an additive environment which will work to embrace a student's culture as opposed to shoving it out. By trying to embrace students' cultures, I will hopefully be able to connect with my students on a deeper level that will allow them to trust me. I can then develop a curriculum around students' interests, giving them the opportunity to study things that are meaningful and relevant to their personal lives. It will make them actors in their own education instead of people who have no desire to be learning. It is also important to me to involve the parents in their children's educations. As Delia suggested, making home visits will allow me to gain more information about my students' home life, but it will also give the parents the chance to meet and get to know me personally. I hope to be able to establish a sense of trust and encourage the parents to also get involved within the classroom setting. Trust will be a fundamental foundation in my classroom. To establish this trust, I will begin each day by asking how my students are doing, telling them a story about my life, or asking if there are any stories anyone would like to share. By showing my students I care about them and respecting their lives, I hope to gain their respect in return. During my fieldwork experience, I am very happy I was able to work with my first teacher because it showed me exactly what kind of teacher I do not want to become. She was unwelcoming and created an environment that felt toxic to be in. One day, she was extremely frustrated and accused her English language learner students of not caring or trying at all. When I moved to my second school, I was greeted with a warm, inviting reception, and the teachers I worked with were so appreciative to have my help. Each teacher assigned me to a specific child and knew exactly where they were having difficulties and what they wanted me to help with. It was such a different experience, and I am so glad to have had both sides. One of the main ideas I am taking away from my fieldwork experience in this class is not giving my students permission to fail. As the Ladson Billing article suggested, I will empathize with my students, but I will also take the responsibility to teach them. I will not lower my expectations for a student simply because they come from a certain background or have a different culture. As Lisa Delpit stated, the teacher cannot be the only expert in the classroom. Both student and teacher are experts at what they know best. I want to be able to teach my students, but I also believe they will have just as much to teach me. Throughout the school year, we will grow together as a community, and as the end of each year approaches, everyone will come out changed in some way. As I grow with my profession and learn about new ideas, practices, and styles, I must remember to not be afraid to change my philosophy. Nothing stays the same forever, and everything gets outdated after a certain amount of time. I do not want to become that teacher who simply gets stuck in their routines and forgets that the students are what truly matter. Education is not just about books and facts, it's about learning from yourself and from the people around you. Quoting once again from Lisa Delpit, accept students, but also take the responsibility to teach them. One's culture defines who they are, and that is why it's so essential to keep culture in the parameter of each student's education and use it to enhance their overall experience.